Thank you, Gabe. Hello, everyone. I'm so honored to be part of this gathering. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. But I have to admit, I never imagined sitting here in my home, talking to a camera, instead of being on stage in Nashville, looking at the faces of all you amazing leaders. To say the least, the COVID-19 crisis has caused a major change in plans in almost every area of life. No doubt, change can be difficult and painful. As leaders, well, we always have plans. Our strategies, goals, and objectives are everything, right? And when they're disrupted, well, it's a shock to the whole system. But I know from experience that God is always working in our change of plans. And sometimes He uses change to get us on board with His plan. Let me tell you about a day. In June 2015, I was carrying furniture into a temporary home in the Seattle area, where I was about to start working for World Vision. Then my phone just started blowing up. Halfway across the world, in the south of France, my former colleagues at Procter & Gamble were excitedly texting me the news that the advertising campaign we created, Always Like a Girl, was sweeping the Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity. You see, the Lions are for the advertising industry what the Oscars are to the movie industry. And our campaign has swept the awards. You will see why when I show you the video in a few minutes. I'll never forget getting those texts. Instead of being dressed up sharp in a tuxedo and ready to move onto the main stage to collect the awards and to be the toast of the town on the French Riviera, there I was, sweaty and grubby, in suburban Seattle, about to move a chair, then a couch, then a coffee table. And if I'm honest with myself, there was a part of me that would have liked to have found a way to be in Cannes collecting those trophies. But in my heart, I had peace and joy, because I knew I was exactly where God wanted me to be. It was as if He was saying, Edgar, you're following my way now. At other times in my life, I experienced unexpected, painful change without understanding that the Lord was working in the twists and turns, protecting me and preparing me. Here's a roller coaster ride through the history of Edgar Sandoval. First, there was the breakdown of my family, which caused me at the age of 18 to pack everything I owned in my dad's green army duffel bag and move from Venezuela, where I grew up, to the US, where I was born. I had to start my life over completely, with very little money and even less English. Then, a few years later, when I beat the odds to get into Rutgers University, there was a change in my lifelong dream to study engineering. Because of my language difficulties, well, I just didn't make the cut. So I enrolled in sociology instead. But later, I persevered and overcame challenge after challenge to complete a double major, sociology and engineering, and then earned an MBA. Later, as I started building my career at P&G and building my family with my amazing wife, Lisa Marie, we were thrown a major curveball. See, our daughter, Andrea, was born with a brain injury, and that was not on my plans. But here's the beautiful thing. Andrea is both significantly disabled and an extraordinary blessing. While I work from home these days, she's often sitting next to me in my office, watching movies on her iPad and blessing me with her smiles and giggles. She doesn't care what I'm doing. And then in 2002, well, everything changed. A friend at P&G brought me to a Promise Keepers conference in Dallas. I'll never forget walking into that basketball arena where 10,000 men were singing, praying, and listening to Bible-based messages. For me, it was, well, really weird. I felt completely out of place. And I thought, what am I doing here? Worse, what are all these people going to do to me here? And suddenly the band started playing an amazing song I had never heard before. Here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you are my God. It touched every nerve in my body. And in the middle of the song, I started to yield. There I was, crying inconsolably, because I realized I had never bowed down to Christ with honest humility. At that moment, I surrendered and asked Jesus to take control. And then a real transformation began to take place in my life. That was my Damascus Road moment. Like the dramatic conversion of the Apostle Paul, it was a turning point for me. And it was the beginning of trading in my plans and my ways for God's, my will for His. Now, God still had a purpose for me in corporate America. You see, there was a segment of the population that was wrongfully undervalued. Adolescent girls. That's at the heart of the Like a Girl campaign. At P&G, with my research team, we interviewed young women around the world and discovered that regardless of their nationality, religion, or socioeconomic status, once they hit puberty, they lost confidence in their dreams. Without confidence in their own value, women and girls are less likely to fulfill their God-given purpose. And that just isn't right. We're all created in God's image, male and female, and God has a unique purpose for us all. Well, take a look at this to see how we challenged the harmful attitude towards girls.
Hi, Erin.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm gonna just give you some actions to do. I just do the first thing that comes to mind. Show me what it looks like to run like a girl.
My hair.
Show me what it looks like to fight like a girl. Now throw like a girl.
Aww. My name is Dakota, and I'm 10 years old.
Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. Throw like a girl. Fight like a girl. What does it mean to you when I say run like a girl?
It means run fast as you can.
So do you think you just insulted your sister?
No. I mean, yeah, insulted girls, but not my sister.
Is like a girl a good thing?
Actually, don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing. It sounds like a bad thing. It sounds like you're trying to humiliate someone.
So when they're in that vulnerable time between 10 and 12, how do you think it affects them when somebody uses like a girl as an insult?
I think it definitely drops their self-confidence and really puts them down, because during that time they're already trying to figure themselves out, and when somebody says you hit like a girl, it's like, well, what does that mean? Because they think they're a strong person. It's kind of like telling them that they're weak and they're not as good as them.
And what advice do you have to young girls who are told they run like a girl, kick like a girl, hit like a girl, swing like a girl?
Keep doing it, because it's working. If somebody else says that running like a girl or kicking like a girl or shooting like a girl is something that you shouldn't be doing, that's their problem. Because if you're still scoring and you're still getting to the ball on time and you're still being first, if you're doing it right, it doesn't matter what they say. I mean, yes, I kick like a girl, and I swim like a girl, and I walk like a girl, and I wake up in the morning like a girl because I am a girl. And that is not something that I should be ashamed of. So I'm going to do it anyway. That's what they should do.
If I asked you to run like a girl now, would you do it differently?
I would run like myself.
Would you like a chance to redo it?
Why can't run like a girl also mean win the race?
When I look at that, I don't see an advertising campaign. I see a heart for vulnerable girls that God gave me and the will to make things better for them. Although it was one of the most successful campaigns in company history, the real reward for me was the change in the public arena. You see, before this campaign, only 19% of people thought that doing something like a girl was a compliment. And a year later, after the campaign launched, that number had increased to 79%. Now, when I see girls proudly declaring their accomplishments like a girl, I am so proud. It really felt great to help some vulnerable children. But little did I know, when we launched Like a Girl in 2014, that God was about to use me to serve the most vulnerable children around the world. When a recruiter called me about the chief operating job at World Vision, I was flattered, but I wanted to say no. After all, Like a Girl proved I could blend profits with purpose. Most importantly, Lisa and I had a great support system in Cincinnati for Andrea and our second daughter with a disability, Christina. We relied on those established friendships, people we could call at a moment's notice. I wasn't sure about moving to the Pacific Northwest and causing so much change for all 4 of our children. But Lisa and I agreed to go deeper in prayer, worship, and fasting to discern what was God's plan for us. We really felt the Lord's presence in many supernatural ways during this time of seeking. And we received a clear answer that World Vision is where God wanted us. Today, as president of World Vision, here's what I know. God has a purpose for the turning points in our lives. Those moments when He changes our plans. It's turning us toward something, toward a mission He has prepared for us to do. And God's mission for His people is not just good, it is miraculous. He has chosen us to change the entire world for Jesus Christ. And when we yield to the Holy Spirit to do His transformative work in us, well, we step into His grand plan. I call it pressing into the miraculous. Jesus is waiting for us in the miraculous. He is the miracle worker. Now, Jesus performs the miracles, but our part is to yield. To yield willingly and expectantly, asking for the Spirit to become greater in us and our pride and self-reliance to reduce. To be more concerned with serving others than with being served. For me, this transformation ignites a passion for witnessing to Jesus Christ. I want to tell what the Lord has done in me and through me to everyone who will listen. The news is just too good not to share. Friends, I have seen the miraculous impact of the church when the church pours itself out, not just to help the poor, but to seek John 10:10, life in all of its fullness, for children and families around the world. I have seen wells flowing with clean water because people prayed. I have met refugees who reclaimed hope and a sense of purpose through church-supported relief programs. I have been to communities where families are breaking the cycle of poverty for their children, including ending harmful child marriage for their daughters. I've been so inspired by youth who are fighting gang violence in their neighborhoods with peace and fervent prayer. And last year at World Vision, after a long time of praying for a miraculous breakthrough idea to bring more help to children, the Lord was so faithful. We launched Chosen, a new invitation into child sponsorship that puts the power to choose their sponsors into the children's hands. We see Chosen as a divine gift born out of prayer, faith, and obedience. It is an affirmation that children are image bearers of God, beautiful messengers through whom He speaks. For sponsors, it is an invitation to surrender to the providence of God. And it is a reminder that we too have been chosen by God. You will hear more about Chosen from my friends Michael Chitwood and Jeannie Stevens later today. To be honest, I expect the Chosen to be the main thing this year, to transform lives of sponsored children and sponsors in increasingly larger numbers, to excite churches, to energize our staff. And then the coronavirus silently disrupted all of our plans. So today we wonder, how do we love our neighbors when we have to keep our distance? How do we show our belief in others when there's so much to fear for ourselves? Here's what I say. Even in a crisis, no, especially in a crisis, we must continue to press into the miraculous. We must choose hope over fear, action over aimlessness. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. His love gives us hope, hope that frees us to love and serve others as He did. So I believe it's time to trust God like never before. Let's unite in prayer and move swiftly to help each other. Let's trust the miracle worker to move in us, using each act of love and courage to His purpose, in His perfect plan. I invite you to join us, and together, let's expect miracles. Thank you, and God bless you.